Alrighty, and hello everyone, and welcome to another Cooking with Gorilla, where tonight we are making a Midwest staple there, bean hotdish. So, my mama used to make this all the time, and I'm making sure I got the right microphone. So, my mama used to make this all the time. I didn't care for it as a kid, but as I grown older, I learned to love it there. So we're gonna go ahead and make it. I already got the water in my pot there. So I'm just gonna take the rest of this box here because there's not that much in there. It's really just kind of feel how much you need in it. So get that going on high there. So yeah, the rest of the box it's kind of like a feel how much you need, how much you want to make. Do you like extra noodles? Do you like more hamburger? Do you like more beans? Now time to make the hamburger. You brown the hamburger and make the noodles at the same time. Damn, this knife needs some sharpening. So we'll get that going. Pound of hamburger. Now you always season your hamburger when you're making these hot dishes there. And hey, Kevin, how's it going? Welcome. You always season your hamburger because just plain hamburger doesn't taste just right, you know. But I'm just gonna go with since it's bean hot dish. I'm using home style baked beans there. We're just gonna use hickory. Just a hickory rub taste. See that to your liking. No, but this is a Midwest staple. And what the hell? Oh, now this tool here, I stole this one from Tasha, or did I steal this one from Marissa? One of the two. But anyhow, this little four thing here, this breaks up the hamburger really good. Good, good. You got to get one of these. These things are always good. So we're gonna go ahead. Yeah, when you're browning, you you just break up the hamburger like this. It breaks it up very well. But I got to let those sit there and brown. Well, I'm glad it's going well for you, Kevin. There, no, but we used to make this all the time. Now I got one of the bigger cans of beans there, and who knows, I may add a second one. I had it right in front. I do got a second can of Great Value Original. I like the home style baked beans. Now, baked beans are a little bit those ones that are kind of like discretionary use there because they do each one. I've had found that each that between high V, Bushes, and Great Value are are all do taste a little bit different because of the recipe there. It's like you got your regular beans there, then the brown sugar. What else goes into them? Mustard seed, salt, all they're white beans, fire. Then they're cooked and they turn brown. But they're yeah. So you can just hear that sizzling. But I found out different. They all taste different there, and I'm gonna go and get the hickory beans next. next time I go bean shopping, I think I'm gonna buy the hickory ones there. Bushes are the best beans, but depending on your budget, Great Valley is just as good. There, I haven't had much experience with the Heidi one, so I can't really recommend that. Again, go out and say, oh, go out and get them. But I've been on a little bit of a tighter budget, so I've been buying some Great Value stuff. But better turn the hamburger down a little bit, or else it's going to be done before the noodles will be. The thing that'll take the longest is your noodles boiling there, but you got to have your pasta. So, but I'm thinking there's other hot dishes out there that I could do that. And oh, we got and welcome Trek reviewer. Oh, and Kevin Theme Park. Yeah, glad it's going pretty well for you. Did you see the SROP trailer for season 4 of Strange New Worlds, and it starts on July 23rd? I really don't care about Strange New Worlds. The show's all right, you know. No, but it's not as great as DS9 or TNG, you know. And after Anson Mount told me to go fuck myself there, I really stopped talking about Strange New Worlds. You want all these actors they want you to watch their show. They tell you, oh, the show's not meant for you, or if you voted this way don't watch my show or don't watch. Okay, won't watch it. Why aren't you guys watching our shows? You told us not to, or you tell half your audience to go fuck themselves. So why should we support a show when you don't want us watching it? You know. Maybe the reason why some of these shows were way better back in the day, people weren't running their mouths on Twitter, you know. But they actually were able to write too. But all these celebrities running their mouths and making people not want to watch their stuff. Sorry to say. Dropped it. They dropped the trailer for. Maybe I'll go check it out. Maybe not. I'm not a big. I'm not like those numbers on the list there with the new shows there. I love Lower Decks, you know. I like Prodigy because the guy doing kids. Stranger World, I was saying I was halfway defending it till Anson Mount told me to go fuck myself, and maybe I should maybe I should stop watching. That's fine because at the end of Paramount told Kurtzman to go fuck. So Kurtzman is out. All right. Well, at least we won't. I'm not sure how I feel about Kurtzman because apparently, from what I understood, is he wasn't in charge of the first few seasons of Discovery. They brought him in, and then that's when things started changing. That's how we got your Lower Decks and Prodigy there. But he's also was in charge of that Picard there. So they're not renewing his contract. They couldn't kick him out, but the end of his contract. Okay, they're not renewing it. All right. Now that the hamburger is almost browned, I'm actually gonna add more of the hickory there. just because I like the flavor, the extra flavor there. Now, if you have a low tolerance to like salt, extra salt, or whatever your seasoning is, or you can't have too much of certain seasoning, that then you can't you can't then don't add as much seasoning. I like my seasoning. I don't have that problems as of yet, so therefore I'm not gonna. I can add extra. I just like the extra flavor, but it's one of those that use a pound of hamburger, as much noodles as you want, depending on how much you want to make. There are 1 or 2 cans of baked beans, depending on how many baked beans you want, and season the hamburger to your liking. That's all it is. It's a simple, easy dish, relatively cheap because noodles. That box of noodles there was like $3, and it's gone through 4 Hotdishes or so. So the can of baked beans is what, buck something, and the hamburger is what's getting you. I found hamburger for like 4.45 or 4.50 or something like that at at Quick Trip, but Hy-Vee the hamburger is like 6 something. Walmart's like another 5 something. I'm not sure what it is at a local grocery store. You're not getting no deal at a dollar store there for your hamburger. The best way to go about your hamburger there is if you can afford it at the time there. I mean, it will, granted, it will cost you a good 500-600 bucks, but you get a lot of meat. Is buy a quarter or a half a cow at a time. I personally can't afford that at the moment. Maybe down the road I'll be able to, but being able to get the quarter to half a cow at a time is the way to go. Buy it directly from the farmer. That's if you're able. Like if you're in downtown LA, you're gonna have a hard time finding. If you're downtown New York, you're not. But anybody that's outside the cities that would have an easy time finding it there. Also, check around your local butcher shop. Sometimes they do have those deals, but it's all the way you shop. Also, seen that people, and they're not a sponsor, but Backyard Butchers, Steven Crowder's it's sponsored by them. Glenn Beck is sponsored by them. I think there's a few others. There's a bunch of people that are sponsored by them. Those are the two top that come to mind that are sponsored by Backyard Butchers, which is a butcher box, and you can get like free hamburger for life or free chicken for life, depending on what you buy and how often you buy it. Those boxes aren't exactly well, they're cheap for the amount you get, but you got to buy a certain amount at a time. The thing about Strange New Worlds that gets me is that the best written character of the series should not exist. That is Lon, because she has no reason to connect him to Yeah, yeah, that there is what you call a money grab. They wanted they they just wanted to use the Khan name because people are like, "Ooh, Khan," but it's just like, "Ooh, Khan." It's kind of like anytime they do a Soon character, it's always played by Brent Spiner there. I wish they'd have a different. I almost wish they'd retire that line because they've used it so much now, especially in New Trek. Like the New Trek, they just have to have these old names and old things. Their storylines, their member berries for people to watch. Ooh. Oh yeah, when you're making noodles, you always got to stir them or else they stick to the bottom. And I love these spoons here, but I think I'm invested in wooden ones, but I'm not gonna get the long wooden ones. If anything, I want 4 of these short ones. I don't like the real long ones. I always like those short ones. Oh god, that's gonna get cut context. I know it. I'm pretty sure it'll be Thomas. Now that the hamburger is all all completely browned in that. Pull it off the burner. Never leave. Don't pull me there and leave. You never leave those plastic spoons or stitches in a hot pan because that'll melt. It may not look like it's getting melted, but it's slowly breaking those down into the food. They're good to stir with, but never leave them in the pan. I learned that. I'm just waiting for those new. Then it's got a regular strainer there. Oh god, the one time I learned when you're cooking when you're tired there, you still gotta pay attention. I still remember I drained the noodles. I was tired. I was out of it. I might have had a few drinks that night, and I strained the noodles over the stove. Talk about a mess to fucking clean up. Yeah, that was one hell of a mess to clean up. If you're wondering why I'm getting in the corner here, my camera is up here hanging off the plate so you can have that view there. There, my computer is down here. Let's see. These are the air price should be enough to connect it to TOS, but the effed up by making the rooms on the ship are at least three. Well, no, not even that. That they could have had a they made everything digitalized on and put and touchscreen on the Enterprise there too, instead of the push buttons and the switches. They could have had the modernized look with the switches and and the push buttons, but they totally remodeled that. You can easily explain that the rooms are bigger. Is that they remodeled and brought more people on the ship? That's all you need. That's all there. The room's 3 times bigger. That can be easily explained by they did a remodel and they made the room smaller and brought more people on board. That's all that can be easily explained away there. My problem is the they go from touchscreens to push buttons and switches. Like seriously, you're downgrading the tech. I can understand the modernized look. It's just the switching like that. No, they're getting softened up there. That's a good thing there. But that does not explain the size of the control panels on the bridge. Yeah, that's where I was going. That's where I was talking that's where they screwed up there by doing the touchscreens instead of the buttons like they used to be there. But also, they could have solved this entire problem here by just saying it was in another timeline. There, say that have it what they should have done with Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds, which would have solved a lot of problems and could have solved a lot of bitching. Have it be broken off from the timeline there of the Enterprise episode Regenerate, where they found the Borg there, and they had to go after that captured cargo vessel with the Borg there. They could have spun it off from that time from a timeline from there, and that would have explained all the inconsistencies. It's another timeline, and that could have been the breaking off point right there. That's what I would have done there instead of insisting that it has to be prime timeline. Like, ooh, look at the steam coming off of that. Ooh. they're getting there. They're still need a tiny bit. They're still a little hard. And always tested. One way to test the noodles is just eat one. If it's still too hard, and then cook a little bit longer. It could be just right. Now the problem with noodles is that if you cook them too long, then they expand too much too. They get soft and mushy. I've had that issue too. I remember when ramen noodles cook too long and it just gets mushy. I don't like the mushiness. I like them a little bit firm together. But I had to sit there and scrape some of the noodles off the bottom there, so that because they do, noodles have the tendency to stick. Getting that ready to drain, because I'm gonna drain it here pretty soon. Oh, so any more chats? And oh, it looks like we lost the Tricker Weaver and Kevin. They both left there. So yeah, I think we're almost ready though. So yep. Alrighty. Now here comes the fun part. Searing a hamburger, you could drain the grease out. I don't generally do that because it doesn't make that much of a difference. All your recipes will tell you to drain the grease out. Doesn't make that much of a difference. For your hamburger and your beans together. I like that satisfying rip. So are these cans ribbed for our pleasure? You get it, you get it. It's a sex joke. Now what I'm doing is making sure that it's mixed together well. Making sure I got the proportions right, or the way I want it, which I looks like I do. So it doesn't look like I'm not going to add a second can there, but that's just about right. And this is going to feed me till this is going to feed us for a couple days here because it's going to make at least, it'll probably be gone by maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Now, all I'm doing on the stove there, all I'm doing on that stove is all I'm doing on the stove there is heating up the beans. That's all I'm doing. Make the beans nice and warm. So because the nice thing is the beans are already cooked. So therefore, you just need to warm them up. Now, because I warmed them up in a separate saucepan, but that's an extra dish. Versus this here, you just take an extra minute or two to heat them up in the pan. You mix them all together in. This is going to feed you. Depending on how much you eat, that's a good for 2 people. I'd say it's a good 3 meals. Depending, like I'll take it to work for leftovers for hot, like a hot dish leftovers there. So, but I'm just gonna let him heat up a little bit longer. All right. So yeah, just a little bit longer. I don't have much more to say here. For the purposes of the video, I'm gonna color. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to heat up the beans there, but for you guys' entertainment purposes. Bon appetit. Oh. That hickory on there is phenomenal. But you guys have a good night. And just remember to be a gorilla. And if you guys ever want me to make something special, just put it in the comments there and I'll consider it. Have a good night.